Dope Boy Diesel back in the motherfucking Doja room, coming at you real quick with my boy DJ K Dub. Say what's up to the Doja room. What's good, my boy?
What's up? What's up, Doja people? What's up, my Dojites? I don't know what to call them yet, but
It's all my
I
stoners,
always love
hippies, and
them.
hip hop enthusiasts. You feel me? That's what
There
we
we
got in the Doja room.
there we
So
go.
I welcome you guys. I welcome you guys. Thank you guys for stopping in. Once again, we're back for the Diddy Day 6 recap. Okay. We're gonna pick up where we left off with Carrie Morgan basically coming in, and I don't know. Once they bring the white woman in, shit gets spooky for me. You know what I'm saying? That I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get to that. First, we got a couple of topics. Yeah, first we got a couple of topics. Real quick, if you guys don't mind, hit this video with a like if you're tuning in right now. Hit it with a repost. I would appreciate that so we can get this out to as many people as possible. I always appreciate everybody who comes in. We getting a nice little crowd of people,
Oh
a nice
yeah.
little crowd of 100 people coming in. In the first couple of minutes of the show. So I definitely appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? People are popping out to come in and listen to this breakdown. So yeah, and we're staying here consistent for you guys, as you can see, to give you guys the details of the trial and what's been going on and our opinions and yeah. So it's been fun. Real quick as well, please check out the official playlist of the Doja Room. It's called Diesel's Doja and Melodic Ice. You can find those links on my page. We got a plenty of dope music in there for you. Indie artists, some of the biggest artists. Of course, we got some Drake in there. So when you want to run up some Drake streams, it's the perfect place. So yeah, it's a nice little one-stop shop. So I would appreciate it if you guys tune in to what we doing on that too. And if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, you're not listening on YouTube, but you're on X, go ahead and hit the link in my bio so that you can subscribe to us on YouTube. It's called Firstborn Media is the channel. Okay, so go ahead and get into that. And yeah, we're gonna continue where we left off. Well, we're going to continue with the conversation where we were having before this because I think you were kind of laying down the premise. So, I mean, you asked me a question and I kind of wanted to answer it and break it down. While we're talking about everything. So maybe run back and refresh the people on what we were talking about a little bit, so we can get back into that question.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So uh me and D's earlier, right before we hopped on, we were talking a little bit about the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese rivalry and how now it's spilling out onto sports reporters, RG3, Robert Griffin III, and Ryan Clark. You guys know them both,
Facts.
from Fox, ESPN, two pretty prominent names. Uh, Kind of went at it, it kind of it got a little personal. It's weird. I was telling D's,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's crazy, you know.
So so
Basically,
and you were updating me, but real quick, is this the clip? Is this where this all starts? Right here.
let me see. That's no that so that clip is the response video to Ryan Clark. That's basically
Okay,
him
so
just saying, "Hey,
let's.
like, yeah." That's a response video. I don't know. I haven't seen the exact video of when RG3 said what he said about Caitlyn. That's the one. I think that
Is this it?
what's the caption say?
Hate when he sees when he's referring to Angel Reese feeling towards Caitlin Clark. It was irresponsible. Clark's the
That might
biggest
be that
star in
might
the
be
women's rap.
his. That might be when he responded to RG3. I've
It
never seen. Like
says
I said, I haven't seen the
Ryan
long
Clark
video.
simps for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
Maybe because they got the same last name, but yeah, but we can get into more of their own personal thing. I guess our conversation is more of a product
yeah.
of this, but so you can go ahead.
but anyway, so basically, and guys in the comments, please, if I miss anything, please let us know. But basically, from what I understand, went on is um RG3 had a take, basically saying, "Hey, the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese rivalry isn't just a rivalry. Like Angel Reese genuinely does not like. I think he might have used the word hate. I'm gonna be honest. I think he does. He does, as we'll watch in the video that he sent responding to Ryan Clark.
Hmm.
He says it. He says the sports take he had was, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It's not just a rivalry. Angel Reese genuinely does not like that woman, and
Yeah,
which isn't a crazy take. That's what me and Diesel were talking about. It's not a crazy take. And this dude
yeah.
Ryan Clark,
I
yeah,
truly think that I believe that, and I think I've kind of always can tell, it's a comment that I made behind the scenes. Like I said, it's it's a hate that she's white, but it's not like because she's white. It's not
yeah,
a racism because she's white. It's just like y'all think she's God because she's white. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all
exactly.
give her all this extra credit because she's white and
Exactly.
she
Yeah.
can play a little basketball, but it's like
It's
no,
like,
she's like really good. Like she's really good.
yeah. But so then Ryan Clark sees this because like I said, I don't think it was the same show. It probably wasn't. But Ryan Clark responds to that by basically saying, "Oh, like Robert, of course you don't understand the plight of like what black women go through. You don't have these. You can't even have those conversations in your own home because you're married to a
Oh,
white woman."
oh my God.
And it's like
But why do niggas like
that's what
that
I'm
go
saying.
there? Like,
That's such a loaded, you know what I'm saying? That's such a loaded thing to say to another black man, right? And it's like, to me, and I don't
I
want
feel
to
like
get
as
off
society
base.
has made it low key okay to sit here and talk to people like that and
Yeah, and
validate
that's what he
people like
addresses.
that.
He's going to address it in the video. He's just like over a sports take. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
I'll let Diesel play the video so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But
Okay,
basically,
so
that's
this
what
is where
happened. And this
this
video
Yo,
is
video
a
what's
picks
up,
up.
everybody? It's
response.
your boy
Okay,
RG3, and I
okay.
just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys because there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of conversations about my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, which was purely based in basketball. But I think all of you know there's a line in life that you just simply don't cross. Wives and children Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, and that's fine. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sports media do is turn around and personally attack me and my family just because you don't agree because it's just how low of a person Ryan Clark
So
is.
so I kind of get that. I get that angle, and that you can't just sit here and just fly off the
Exactly, bro.
handle.
Bro took that shit to hell so quick. Like that shit is crazy, bro.
Nigga say you married to a white woman. You can't talk. Like god damn. Like the fuck.
It's not not
Like
not not acting like real quick before you continue. It's like not even acting like this man didn't go through struggle with his mom. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
Like this dude ain't a black man. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, but
that shit's
whatever.
crazy.
Yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
But Ryan, you crossed the line, man. You made it personal and some. I really believe there should be no space in sports media for personal attacks. I've said it before, but certainly personal attacks. Brian, you attacked me and my family in a public forum on a level all you want. challenge my takes.
That nigga said, "Keep my wife's name out your
Oh my
fucking
god,
mouth."
I'm telling you, bro. You can tell this dude's trying so hard not to
Hey,
take a post. Like,
hey, look, he about to get the Will Smith treatment
that's what I'm
in about
saying.
2 seconds. It sound like
That's what I'm saying,
I
bro.
didn't even. I wasn't privy to this. You putting me on.
Uh huh.
So I think that so our conversation continued and it got to the point where you asked me another question, but right before we started,
Uh-huh.
about as far as Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark said, and I wanted to get to that question in
Oh yeah, no
particular.
problem. Yeah, no problem. So basically, after me and Diesel kind of not finished talking about it, but we kind of reached the climax of the conversation. Pause. Um. Uh. I asked Diesel. I said, "Hey, man, like because he started saying this is remnant of Larry Bird and Magic, right?" And I said, "It's kind of interesting because the roles have flipped in a way. Now it's kind of
Mm,
like." Angel Reese is the Larry Bird in the situation, not liking Magic because he's black, or that was what they said, right?
mm,
It's kind of looking like the WNBA. That's what Diesel said. What Diesel responded with was, that's the formula, and the WNBA is just trying to use the same formula that the NBA used with Bird and Magic on Reese and Clark, And
yeah,
so
they
I
got to
asked
use that.
Diesel, yeah. And I asked Diesel, I said, hey, like, why do you think it is that Angel doesn't like Caitlyn? And that was the interesting question that Diesel's talking about. It's like, besides the fact that she's white, you know,
Yeah,
and then Diesel's response is great. So,
yeah. I kind of went into that, and I think it's just a little bit deeper. It's like first of all, I think Caitlin Clark is great for the WNBA. And I actually think that what Angel Reese is, even though she's propelling it in a different way as far as endorsements, they're kind of propelling the game in two different ways, right? In two great different ways. As far as visibility, pop culturally wise, stuff like that, Angel Reese is out here. She's talking to the celebs. She's connecting with everybody. It's like she's making this effort to become a genuine household name outside of the game. You know what I'm saying? But Caitlin Clark is elevating the game on a skill level, on a professional level, on you know what I'm saying? And like I feel like at the end of the day, when it comes down to who's more important, I feel like it could easily go down a wrong road because I actually spoke about this in the Doja Room one episode and
uh huh.
I said, I was looking at I forgot which player I was actually looking. I think it was Jade or something. I was looking at one player in particular and I was saying I was just looking it looked like she might have been at a show or some type of after party club wherever.
Uh huh.
But I'm like, okay, well, if this is y'all players, they popping out, ass out, basically look like strippers all the time, except when they're not on the court. I mean, well, except for when they're on the court, it'll start to degrade the integrity of the game. It's gonna start
Exactly.
to take the game in another place. Like,
Uh huh.
and I feel like genuinely, a lot of girls are gonna look at Angel Reese and they're going to see where she takes it, which is great. There's going to be a lot of benefits for the WNBA because of it, but she's going to take it and take these girls to have them look at her and be like, well, this is a stepping stone, so I can do what I really want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like a lot of women, when it comes down to their career paths and shit like that, they use things as a means to an end. more
Yep.
than it being an actual passion or driving desire that they have. It's more of a means to an end, and I feel like a lot of girls going the Angel Reese route who are not exactly Angel Reese will, you know, you start using the NBA, like I said, just as a means to an end to pop out with the celebrities, to be around certain men, to be around the guys who really got a crazy bag. And, after that, I mean, think about it right now. Angel Reese is a hot commodity. She probably got more DMs in her, I mean, more checks in her DMs than Nike right now. So let's say tomorrow Angel Reese marries a billionaire, which is a very possible. There's nothing stopping her. Tomorrow she marries a billionaire. What does she have to play basketball for?
Exactly.
What does she have to play basketball for? Would
Exactly.
she even
Exactly.
still want to play basketball?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
a lot of women, I feel like would get into that bag of, okay, well, I'm
I'll
getting
play this
paid
for two,
here.
3 years. I'll play this for 2, 3 years. Boost up my portfolio. Do
Exactly.
do these modeling contracts with Dior, Gucci,
Get
Louis
these
Vuitton,
endorsements,
whatever, and
start the
fucking
podcast, start a show,
yep,
and then
exactly.
fuck it, I'm out.
And then I'm out. Yeah, exactly. And of course, the WNBA isn't gonna back you for that because they want players to play. They want Candace Parkers. They want Lisa Leslie's. They want,
But
you
they
know,
also want stars too. They also
exactly.
want stars, and it's a women's league, so they're not gonna police these women on popping out
Yep,
and wearing whatever they want and doing
exactly.
whatever they want with these guys and stuff like that. We know they're not gonna. We can say that, but the WNBA, they're not gonna hold these women accountable. They're just not going to hold them accountable to say, okay, we need to reel it in. This is the image we need to uphold. We can't be doing this. We can't be doing that. We can't be popping out and looking like, you know what I'm saying? Just with our whole ass out. You feel me? Like, or if you're, I don't know. Do you see certain teams putting that in their contracts to say, hey, this is, this is a family oriented team. We don't, have players who
Um,
do this, do that. You see
I
some people trying to reel it in that way.
I think I don't think I think reel it in is a very extreme phrase. I think it's more along the lines of like, all right, so we see in the NFL, right? I'm just gonna use the NFL as an example. Who would you say? All right, I'll ask you a question before I get into what I'm gonna say. Diesel, to you personally, what is the worst conduct athlete? I say football. You see a
You
lot of
said
more
what's the
bullshit
worst
happening in football. Like
the
who?
like the
What
worst
athlete
conduct?
has the? Yeah, what athlete? What athlete usually? What type of athlete usually has the worst conduct in sports? I say
This.
football.
Oh, you talking about on that level in a generality?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can expand on that.
yeah. So it's like that's my thing is, and the NFL tries so hard to police them, police them, police them. But at the end of the day, it's like you said, right? We're gonna go back to what you literally just said 10 seconds ago. You're not gonna tell grown folks how to live their lives just because they're dribbling or throwing a football.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I understand contracts are involved, certain things are, but the more it's kind of like telling a kid, right? We were all there. Hey Johnny, don't go over there and jump on the trampoline. You know you're gonna break your leg, or don't go to the neighbor's house, or don't be out when the street lights are on, like shit like that. What did we do? We did that shit more because our parents told us not to do it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like you're 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 not gonna get rid of the popping out. You're not gonna get rid of the bad behavior. But where I think teams, especially in the WNBA, are gonna start doing is in their contracts, they're gonna specifically state it's not gonna be some little BS fine print. It's going to be in bold letters. It's going to be like if you are engaged in certain activities that look detrimental or have a detrimental impact to the brand name and likeness of this franchise, you will be cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's what they're
I
gonna
think
do.
that's how they do that, or you get fined. You know what I'm saying?
Or yeah,
That's how
or
they
you get
do it in the
suspended. You get
NBA.
suspended from the team.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
you were
mean, we
out
seen it
here.
happen to John Morant.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like yeah, exactly,
so
exactly.
I think it would behoove the NBA to start doing that stuff
Oh,
now
they
before
can.
it gets out of
Yeah,
hand.
they can. Yeah, they can. Yeah,
You know
they
what I'm
can.
saying?
Yeah.
Because you know, like I said, Caitlin Clark upholds the game. Like
And she just conducts herself in a very professional way for the most part. I don't
yeah,
see her out shaking her ass. You know what I'm saying?
she
Like
like female Kobe right now. Like
she
she giving
literally,
female
bro,
Kobe.
that's my thing, dude. I'm so glad you said that. Hey, shout out to D's one time in the comments, bro. I'm so glad you said that because I thought the same shit, bro. And I see people on Twitter trying to say Angel Reese is like that. I'm like, no, she's nowhere near that work
No,
ethic, bro. She can
no,
give
no,
two
no, no.
fucks about no offense to Angel
Kobe,
Reese if
you
you
would
listening.
catch
You know?
Kobe dead doing a podcast. Meanwhile, he could be playing
Hell no.
and
Yeah.
practicing basketball, training for basketball. There's no way. There's
Dude
no
didn't
way.
even want to
In
do
the
post game
prime,
interviews.
in his
Like
prime, you're doing
yeah.
you're doing a basketball, and this is not a knock to Angel Reese. I mean, do what you got to do,
Exactly.
get your money, but
Yeah.
just on a standard of Kobe's standards, no,
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't catch Kobe dead in his prime doing anything else but working at basketball, nigga, working at his craft.
Oh,
So,
bro. Yeah, he would not work with Angel Reese for sure. He would
yeah,
have took one look at her. He would have took one look at her and be like, "Nah, I'm good."
I think that's why you know they're two sides of one coin,
Yep.
almost. Like I said, because they're both pushing the entire game and culture of the
Uh-huh.
game forward, of women's sports or women's
Yeah.
basketball. But I think they're doing it in two drastically different ways. And one way might be a little bit more detrimental in the long term than the other.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I mean, you know, I don't see many guys in the NBA able to pull stuff like that off, but the WNBA might be more lenient to let things like that happen, and you know, let
Exactly.
these girls basically just build a crazy Instagram following. That's really all they need. They build a
Yeah.
crazy Instagram following. They get a couple of endorsements every year. They look good. They pop out with a
Oh,
rapper
yeah.
or football
Yep.
player or whatever, and then
hmm
they quit. They like, all right, I don't need this shit no more. Like, you feel me? Like,
You know who's gonna kill the game once she gets in, bro? And I'm telling you now, we might not even. I mean, we'll still talk about Caitlyn. You know who Angel Reese is probably scared of in the back of her mind? That's gonna take all the clout. Juju Watkins, bro.
yeah,
When
maybe
that girl hits the WNBA,
South
bro,
Carolina,
it's fucking no USC.
USC.
SoCal, SoCal.
Oh.
Yeah. Fight on, by the way, go Trojans. But you know, I think in the back of Angel Reese's mind, she's doing all this shit now because when that girl hits the WNBA, bro, we think Caitlin Clark was a problem, bro. Listen, Juju Watkins is the fucking truth, bro.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I'm like,
excited to see
listen,
that.
yeah, dude, and that's my thing. And you saw it. I don't know if you saw the video where they asked Angel Reese the same question they asked her a year ago. They said, "Hey, like you said last year." The guy tried to ask her, like, "Hey, you said last year that you know it's not about just one player, pushing forward the WNBA. They're gonna remember me too." She didn't even want to answer the question again. She was like, "Can we move on?" It's like, dude, why? Cause you look stupid.
Yeah, she
Because
getting up to
it
diva
shows
status.
you who's really pushing the game forward and the person who's pushing it back. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's my thing. And y'all can roast me in the comments all you want if you're an Angel Reese fan. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care for her like that. I think she was cool in college, but she really ain't shit in the WNBA. Let's be real. She can't even make a layup, bro. Like, get out of here. Like, what we doing? But yeah, dude. I mean,
Do
that's
you
that's
think
my
she
take for
should?
the most part.
She probably could spend more time. She probably could spend more time working on her craft.
A
And
lot more, bro. That's the thing, dude. Stop doing this modeling shit, bro. Like, we get it, get your bag, bro. I'm all for the money, dog. But You're a
Yeah, I think she's
basketball
more
player,
about.
bro.
I
Like
think
you're a
she's more about
basketball.
getting that bag right now.
That's what I'm saying, dog. And it's just like if that's the case, do your thing, Diesel. But don't be talent watching other people, bro. You can't have the best of both worlds if you're not gonna put the money in. Now, if you saw fucking Caitlin Clark get lit one night and like shaking her, like, I mean, I don't really think she got ass, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see her going out and getting lit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You probably
and you
only
even
see that
see
shit
how
once
her,
she win a championship.
bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, like, not just that, it's just you see how her teammates talk about her. Like, Caitlin Clark, there's clips, bro. Her teammates say, hey, this is the best teammate I've ever played with. And that's a rookie, dog. She's only been in the game 1 year.
Hmm.
And you got vets say, hey, this is the best team I've ever played with. She gets everybody involved. She makes us love the game. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's just like you can't. How do you hate that? Like, how can you hate that? And that's why I don't think it's. I don't think she's hating her for the right reasons. I think it's envy more than anything.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit
I
of
think
that
it's just
too.
envy. I think it's just envy. I
I,
think it's
I
just
think they feel like
you know.
she's getting, and a lot of it's not just Angel Reese who gives her that hate too. A lot of them try to block her shine and discredit what she does on the court, and but I think it's like it would I don't know, maybe it's because they don't want, after all of these years of holding it down, a white girl to come up and be the face of the league and be the best player or be the Michael Jordan amongst them. I don't know, I don't think they could live with that. I don't think
Yeah,
I
I
don't
literally.
think
Hey, check it out. I literally just got. I got a text from my girl. She said, "Why are you shitting on the WNBA right now?" Because she's listening. And I said,
look.
"Listen, it's not the WNBA. It's Angel. Relax."
Yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. I don't know. It might be the WNBA because I really don't think they could handle that. I don't think they could handle a white girl being their Michael Jordan. I
You know
just
what
don't
it
think
is,
they could do it.
bro? You know what this is? And I'm gonna say this now. And if I'm crazy, call me the fuck out. This is Steph Curry all over again.
Oh yeah,
This
but
is
she's
Steph
straight
Curry
white.
all over again, bro.
She's straight white. She's straight white. That's why I feel like it's even more hate. It wouldn't even be this. It
Yeah,
wouldn't be this much hate if she was half black. It would not be
yeah.
this much hate if she was half black. Like,
Uh,
but I think I feel like they truly feel like, no, we cannot let this bitch be the Jordan. She cannot be our Jordan.
And
She
it's
cannot
funny
be our
because all the
Michael Jordan.
legends like her, bro. All the
Exactly.
legends like her. Lisa Leslie's freaking like her. Candace, freaking Skylar Diggins.
On
They
top of
all
that,
fuck with
they
Caitlyn, bro. They
exactly.
all fuck with her.
On
Like,
top of that, they see that the WNBA has never been talked about more, and a lot of them are going to
bro,
attribute that to Angel Reese, and I think she's a good part of that. But I think it's mostly Caitlyn.
I had a home girl that went to that WNBA game last year, when they played for the first time. Bro,
Hmm.
my homegirl paid $350 for a ticket.
Damn,
That's
that
what
ain't
I'm
even bad.
saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, that's historical. That's
Yeah,
historical, bro. And it's just, how do you hate her?
them shits used to be
Like,
like, them shits used to be damn near $50.
shit, if that, bro. $50 would have got you almost damn VIP, dog. Shit, dude. Like, what are we talking about, dude? And that's one thing, bro. It's just, and dude, imagine if Caitlyn, check this out. Imagine if Caitlyn was playing for like the Sparks or something.
Right.
Oh
I,
my god, bro. Bro, listen. You
sheesh.
want to talk about having the spotlight on you, dog? Oh, Angel Reese would be in fucking fumes, dog. 24/7 if she was on the
Yeah, she
Sparks.
should have. She should have been. But Indiana is almost a
That's a
perfect
big
city
market.
for her.
That's a big market. It's a different market.
Yeah, I don't think she ever leaves Indiana. I don't know. I don't
Oh
think
no,
Indiana
fuck
even
no.
lets her
That's like
go.
letting Jordan. That's like letting Jordan leave fucking Chicago.
Yeah, or Luca leave fucking Dallas. But hey, that happened. So you can never say never these days. You can never say never these days. But let's move on to the next topic so we can get to this Diddy shit. Because there's been a lot going on with a lot of people. It's continuing today. It's continuing to get today. Okay. I just want to say the Disney girls are up 2-0. Okay.
Damn,
The
that's
Disney
crazy.
girls are up 2-0. Okay. They're not
Is that
playing.
is that is that Chloe?
That's Sky Jackson.
Oh, Sky Jackson. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey,
That's
Sky
the
Jackson, man. Sky Jackson, man.
Look, they are up 2-0. Sky Jackson has officially filed her temporary restraining order against her baby father and alleging that he also did some things. So we'll get into that. We got an article from TMZ. So it says the domestic violence temporary restraining order was granted, and the next court hearing has been scheduled for June 9th in downtown Los Angeles. So Sky Jackson
Oh,
says the father of her baby is terrorizing her, and has been for more than a year. But an alleged Mother's Day assault was the last straw for her. Says the former Disney Channel star filed a restraining order in LA County Superior Court and in the docks. She claims DeAndre Bergen attacked her earlier this month as she was holding their baby boy, 3-month-old Kasai, on Mother's Day. It says, according to the docs, DeAndre grabbed Sky by her hair, slammed her against a car window, and punched her in the face. But Sky claims this kind of violence is nothing new. In the docs, she describes a 6-month period in 2024 when Bergen would abuse her on a weekly basis, choking and scratching her and slamming her head into a wall. She alleges Bergen also damaged a bunch of personal property like an iPhone and television. Says while she was pregnant, Sky claims that he demanded she drink bleach to kill the unborn child and held her
damn.
at knife point as he walked her to her car and threatened to stab her in the stomach if she yelled for help. On another occasion, last summer, she alleges Bergen punched through a bathroom door and she had locked herself inside and slammed her against the wall, choked me until I could not breathe, as the quote says. It says Sky says she also has a video to back up that claim. Says as we reported, Bergens had plenty of legal trouble in the past. He was arrested last month on an outstanding warrant when Sky gave birth in January. He was doing a 90-day jail sentence for a parole violation. She says she claims Bergen owns 3 firearms, including a rifle. She clearly fears for her life. She asked the judge to keep Bergen 100 yards away from her, their baby, and her terrier pug mix, the dog too. Goddamn, and order him to take domestic violence treatment program. Sky says they don't have a legal child support agreement, so she wants that, and for Bergen to cover all her legal fees. Nigga, you paying for all of that shit. So yeah, she getting on his ass. So is this the first time you hearing about this?
Yes. So
Disney
very,
girls up. The Disney girls is up
very,
2-0.
very different parallel from the DDG situation. I won't be honest. Just off of what you said, that motherfucker did that shit.
Oh, you feel like you feel
Like
that
this
way
is a
too?
lot different. This is a
Look,
lot different.
all I'm gonna say is this is my hold up. This is my last tweet. Look, I said I believe everything she's saying. This is a bum ass nigga. We been
I'm
seen this was
if
a
I
bum ass
if I
nigga.
if I if I'm the bailiff in there, I'm like, you want me to arrest him now or
Yeah, now
what?
this we believe. This shit right here, we believe right here.
That yes, bro.
Yeah.
Especially like not gonna lie, not gonna lie, it, it you know how I mean everybody says innocent until proven guilty. Nah, nigga, you guilty as fuck until you prove to me you didn't do it. Like
Yeah.
like this is one of
Nah,
those situations.
I'm trying to tell you, it's just like he just. I mean, in in her, I'm not gonna say in her defense, but as a critique to her, she loves bum ass niggas like this. She's always loved
Exactly. Yep.
these
Yep. Yep.
extra, you know, wannabe thug ass niggas. She was fighting a bad baby over NBA young boy in the past. You know what I'm saying? She likes niggas like this. She like niggas who be doing all of this extra shit. Like, bitch, this is what you like. So maybe she's coming to the age to realize that all of this shit ain't worth it because a lot of these niggas like this are deranged. They have real issues inside. You know what I'm saying? They don't have real parents, and they just run around loosely in the streets, and just cause all kind of mayhem. So I mean, like you got to realize that she's at fault a little bit for this too because it's like what made you want to fuck with a nigga like this? Like, why do you like niggas like this? What is your problem? Like, like? Have y'all females not learned yet that like it's just like how females talk about so much about their sixth sense and intuition and how they're able to break these niggas down, but y'all they just ignore so much fuckery around these niggas and that these niggas do, and they look the fuckery in the face and still be like, oh, but fuck it, like I'ma still do it anyway. I can change it. She probably thought she could change this nigga. She probably thought she could change this nigga, calm him down.
Like they always say.
Yeah, she probably thought she could change this nigga, calm him down or some shit. Who knows? But yeah, it's crazy how much a motherfucker will ignore. When he got a pistol in his back pocket, he walks around with a pistol, and he got an anger issue. So bitches love that shit at first until they got to deal with that shit on they got to deal with that shit on a daily basis and realize this nigga's fucking crazy. But I mean, yeah, I definitely believe everything she's saying though.
Yeah.
It's just
He got the
unfortunate.
track record to back it up for sure.
Yeah, I mean and unlike the DDG case and with Holly, like you said, he has the track record to back it up. Like his behavior is weird. He's never really seemed like a person that's all together, and we've been clowning her and this nigga ever since it was revealed who her baby daddy was. Like it was just like, bitch,
Who is this dude, by the way?
yeah. And nobody. Fuck, nigga, who cares? Like, nigga, he is nobody.
That's what
Literally.
I'm saying. And my thing is too is I don't want to get too far off base with this, but it's like, can we talk about the elephant in the room with this? Like, what is it with these beautiful? What is it with these beautiful, actresses, singers, entertainers that you know what is it with them trying to get with these dudes that shouldn't be with them?
I
Like
really don't.
you would have never thought you know how we have
Like
these
her of all
crushes,
people. Yeah.
like you know how we have crushes on these girls, and we're like, damn, bro, I wish you'd notice me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not really, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we'll be like, hey, I could get with her. Like, motherfucker, I probably would treat her better than this dude. Like, shit, what are we doing? Like, where's the bar,
Exactly.
bro?
I mean, look,
Why is
a
the bar
lot
so
of
fucking low, dog? Like, that's my thing. It's like,
but that's what I'm and you're a star. Like you
dude,
can
bro,
go out, do
what?
movies, do endorsements. I
You
believe
could
she
be
like
with an
has a
A-lister,
YouTube channel,
bro.
shit like that. So,
You could be
she
with a
could
Michael B. Jordan, dog. Like, you could go be with a fucking Michael B. Jordan. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, no, but I'm gonna be with some random light skinned dude that's fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
like
I'm
some real,
saying? Like,
like it's like I said. I mean, we had the whole red pill era, and it ran its course. But I'm not gonna say a lot of truth didn't come out of that era because nigga, I thought we learned this lesson about y'all fucking with niggas like this. Like it's just like when do y'all learn? When do y'all learn that
exactly,
it's just
bro.
like
Bro,
certain niggas just don't ever leave a certain of pattern of behavior alone.
exactly, dog.
Like and she probably thought, oh, I'm Sky Jackson, so this nigga is gonna change for me. He's gonna do what I say. He's gonna
Oh,
no nigga. Like the fuck. Like why do y'all think y'all like y'all so special to a nigga that he probably was cheating on her. She probably gonna get that too. He probably was cheating on her, doing all type of weird shit. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
saying, dude.
On top of beating her ass, she probably was
I'm
dealing with
saying.
that, and then he in and out of jail on top of that. Like it's like the fuck. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like
Probably got an STD or some shit and gave it
how
to
did
her.
a nigga even have access to you? Like the fuck are you like? How do you even have access to some bum ass nigga in jail? You're Sky Jackson, nigga. Like, like nigga, like that's
I'm
tough.
saying.
Like that's tough, nigga. Like the fuck, nigga.
Yo,
How does a bum ass nigga even like? And this would I be? This is why I be mad. Like you feel me? Because it be like certain females who you look at them and you be like, damn, she's beautiful. She got her shit together. She this that the third, and then it's like, how do you let certain niggas have access to you, my nigga? Like, how is that even possible?
like,
How does this nigga even have your number? Like, how do y'all even walk on the same street? How do y'all breathe the same air? Like, I really don't get it. So it's like, that's why I put it on her. It's like, bro, you love bum
yeah,
ass niggas like this,
it's
and
the
some females just don't learn until they meet enough bum ass niggas and it's run its course.
you know what it is, bro? It's the Lori Harvey effect. Like what Lori did to fucking Michael B. Jordan. It's the Lori Harvey effect. I think that's what all
But
these women are.
Lori
I think
Harvey
that's what
is
all these
with
women.
niggas
I think
that
that's what. Yeah,
have something. They have their shit together. They have, I mean, we're talking like guys who are top of the industry. It's
yeah.
not even, I don't know. I don't even know if
One
it's even
percenters,
close.
bro. One
Yeah.
percenters.
No, 0.000 percenters, nigga. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the type of guys that she was hopping around with versus, I mean, she could easily, if you ask me, if you really think about it, bitch, you got a more extensive career than Lori Harvey. The fuck? Like so
Exactly, bro.
you probably could have exactly what she was or what she had or what she was doing, but it's all about what you go for and how you conduct yourself and
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Just seeing through certain bullshit. It's like, bro,
Yep.
all the red flags with a nigga like this is there. Like all the red flags been there. It's not like you
Bro,
even go
them
like
shits are waving, motherfucker. Them
you can
shits
look
are
at this nigga
waving,
and
bro.
the you can look at this nigga and all the red flags are there. But females, they choose to
It is.
ignore the red flags until shit gets shit until shit hits the fan. You know what I'm saying? Until shit hits the fan, and it's just like
Yeah.
you can't ignore the shit no more. But I mean, I don't know. It is
I
what it is with
digress.
that. Like,
I
yeah.
digress.
I hope she figures out her
Hope
whole
she finds
situation.
Jesus.
You say what?
I said I hope she finds Jesus.
And
Shit,
she
bro.
gonna have to find something. She gonna have to find something because yeah, that whole shit is crazy. Okay,
Yep.
that whole shit is like I don't know. Like all I can say is the Disney girls are up 2-0, and DDG is gonna have to come back after halftime and really take this one home for the niggas. You feel me? Because I don't know what this bum ass nigga is. We don't claim him, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know what
No,
this
hell
bum
no.
ass
Yeah,
nigga
yeah.
is,
We are not on.
but
We are not on his side at
look,
all.
because he really was beating that girl ass. DDG in his case, he was getting his ass whipped, but he was over here trying to restrain a bitch, and she got some restraint bruises, and now she's trying to turn that into a domestic violence case. So, it is what it is with that. But segue into more and more of niggas beating bitches asses. We have Diddy getting back to the trial, the meat and potatoes of the show, because not only did we get to yesterday Miss Carrie Morgan joining the trial. This is the woman that Diddy knocked over the head with a wooden hanger, a wooden fucking hanger, bopped her right over the head with that shit. Um, and as we went over yesterday, he beat Cassie, had her run away into the woods. Her and Diddy hopped on two golf carts looking for her where we left off yesterday. And she found Cassie, and then the two of them were hiding in a ditch, trying to, escape the wrath of Diddy. So that's where we left off yesterday, and we're gonna kind of
Yes,
just
sir.
refresh everything. But as I said, when it get to these white women, you're fucked. I don't know, like but I think I think the defense is gonna do a lot of what they did with the last girl. I forgot her name real quick, but it just because there's so many stories that's popping up after Cassie's been on the stand that we haven't exactly heard her say these things. So when it gets down to it, it's a lot going on. Okay, it's a lot going on. So I think they're gonna have to really just keep on pressing that. Hey, Cassie never said these things. This is not something that we've heard. This is the first time we're hearing these stories, and this was never documented or this was never put in any police reports. So I think that's the angle that the defense is gonna continue to play. Okay, so just refreshing where we left off. Okay, and it's where they're asking Carrie Morgan how Mr. Combs would act. And she says he would yell at Cassie. She lost her confidence big time. She lost her spark. They said, did Mr. Combs talk down to Cassie? She said yes, about her looks, who she talked to, etc. Said, did he contact you for looking for her? She said a lot. Sometimes he would call 50 times in a row. So we covered that yesterday too. He would call this bitch 50 times. Bitch, pick up the phone. I know you see me calling you. Where's she at? Okay. He said,
Get
would others?
Cassie on the phone.
Exactly. And that's another nod to what Drake was saying in 4 p.m. So they said, would others call you for him? She said yes. Christina Coram or KK. They said, did you witness assaults? She says yes. The first in the Hollywood Hills, Ruben, one of his security guards, was there. What did Mr. Combs do to Cassie? She said he kicked her. What did she do? She said nothing. I told Ruben to do something. He indicated he wouldn't. And then what? She said we left the house. Cassie and I were hiding by someone's front steps, just hiding out. And the next time, she said in Jamaica, I saw him drag her by the hair. I ran back to get my purse and phone so we could leave. He said, what did you see next? She said, I thought she was knocked out. Then she got up and ran into a wooded area. What happened next? She said there were two golf carts in the driveway. I got in one. Sean got in the other. We went in different directions looking for Cassie. Said, did you find her? She said, yes. Then we hid in a ditch, whispering. What about the incident at Comstock, the apartments? She said Cassie came back with a hoodie covering her face. Then Sean came and tried to get in, hitting the door with a hammer. I called D-Rock. She said, did he get in? She said, no. Then the police came. What happened next? She said Cassie wouldn't show them her ID. Nothing happened. They left a card. They said, read this. Did you send this attachment? I don't know what they meant by that. It's a typo. She said yes, a photo of the card the detective left. Did Mr. Combs ever assault you? She said yes, he hit me with a wood hanger and choked me. Where did the hanger hit you? Behind my right ear. What did he express concern about? She said who Cassie was cheating on him with. Who did you speak to? Who did you speak to about it? She said Ryan, Sean's old assistant. What did he do? She said nothing. She shrugged. I have not spoken with Cassie since. The judge takes a break. The jury and they go out for lunch. They take another break. So they say they're back from a brief lunch. Let's get back to where they are questioning her. Okay, they have the jury entering. It says, so they have no further questions after lunch for Miss Morgan, the prosecution, and this is where Combs, Agni- Agnifilio comes in. So now the defense is going to question her next. Okay, so going forward, Combs' lawyer is questioning her. So it says, you were Miss Ventura's best friend since 2004. She says, yes, actually 2001. We met waiting for Polaroids to develop. I was living in Buffalo. She was in Connecticut. It says, then you were both in NYC? She says, I stayed downtown. She moved to Harlem. Have you ever met Kim Porter? She said, yes, probably at a concert. Was Cassie ever jealous? She says, yeah. It says, and the other way? So Cassie was speaking with Michael B. Jordan and Sean got jealous. She was trying to leave him. They said, you both were using drugs? She said, no, we were in South Africa. Did you learn about Gina? She said, yes. He was having a full-on relationship with this little girl. And then they asked, why'd you call her that? And she says, she acts like that. She's younger than us. They asked, when you say Sean came and hammered on the door, why did why did the police come? She said, they said because of the noise. What did they say to you? Cassie was visibly injured, but she didn't say anything. Says you two were best friends for 18 years, but now you haven't spoken with her since 2018. She said that's true. At the danger of being capital obvious, uh, that's a long time. She's moved on. They said objection. I don't know what that means. They said, why haven't you spoken with her? She says she did not support me after Sean assaulted me. I tried. I tried. I tried that line. I tried that line assault. I don't know. Nigga must be typing a little bit too fast. It said you reached the settlement with Miss Ventura. She said the money came from Mr. Combs. They show her some photos. They said, do you know if Louise Hayes is a self-help author about self-affirmation? She says yes. They said, why did you send him these words or of encouragement? He says, I don't remember sending it. She said, okay. I want to show you a few more photos, but first let's talk about the incident where he puts his hand on your neck. Were you and Cassie using any drugs at the time? She says no. What did he say? He said, who is cheating? Who is she cheating with? You went to an urgent care and not the hospital? She says right. But you don't. But is what? But you don't. The prosecutors. It was bloody, and you went to the hospital. She says, I don't remember that. It says, look at this. Look at this, and it's material not shown to the jury. She says, I see that. I said that. They said now cross-examination, and the prosecution comes back in now. So they said, do you remember Miss Agnifilio asking you about an incident in L.A.? They said objection. It's overruled. And they said, and he hit her like in Jamaica, arguing about jealousy. They said, what happened in Jamaica? She says he dragged Cassie by the hair a 50-yard hallway. Oh my goodness. It says, they asked, was he talking about jealousy? She says no. He said she spent too long in the bathroom. They said nothing further. And he recrossed. They come back. They says now the next witness is David James. So they move on from her. They're moving on from her, and they're going to a guy named David James. Now let's see if we can pull up who David James is real quick. Mr. David James is the next person up. I don't think we have any photos of David James. Is this David James? Okay. Maybe this is David James. I believe. I believe. And this is one of Diddy's assistants that they are now going to question in trial. Now, I don't know what this man did in particular. I don't know what he did in particular, but he's well. What we do know from Diddy's trial so far is that he would have these assistants around, certain assistants around, while he was, you know, uh, either beating Cassie, taking drugs, or going to get drugs for him. So again, I gotta confirm 100% and make sure if this is David James, but I believe that's the dude right there. So we're gonna continue, and this is the prosecution questioning him. Now they asked, "Why are you here?" He says, "I've been subpoenaed." It says, "Were you Mr. Combs' personal assistant?" He says, "From 2007 to 2009." It says, "Who's that in this photos?" They said, "That is David James." It says, "That is yourself?" She says, "Yes." He says, "I went to college in Michigan. I later fixed my resume to bad boy, or faxed my resume to bad boy." It says, "Where was the interview?" She says, he says, 1710 Broadway. "Who do you meet?" They said, "Tommy, his sister, Keisha, and others." Says, "How did they test you?" They gave me 40 appointments and asked me to make a schedule. You had to know, for example, what time a particular show on Hot 97 came on. What did Mr. Combs ask you? To make a spreadsheet for Miami. I said I know I know his food and restaurant preferences. He asked me why I make a good assistant. I said I can't stop, won't stop. I got the job. Dude, that's it. Yeah, damn shit. We could have got that job. You know what I'm saying? All I had to do was say I can't stop, won't stop, nigga. The fuck? That's an easy pass right there. It said, did he have others? He said Mr. Robles, Mr. Barber, and others. Would What would you do as an assistant? He said bad boy to 5, then out to dinner, then the studio till 3 a.m. We'd get a call time at the end of the night. He said, did you travel with Mr. Combs as well? She said yes. Who were the security staff? D-Rock, Bonds, Uncle Paulie. Who worked 20 hours a day? They asked, you work 20 hours a day? He said, yes, security did too. They then asked, what did security staff tell you? Says, to stay in my lane. Said, who said that? Bond and Uncle Paulie. Focusing on his personal chef, who is that? I guess I said, who is this? He says, Chef Jordan, or Jordan Atkinson is the one that they're showing in the photo. They said, did Mr. Combs have girlfriends then? He said, Kim Porter, Sarah, Tara, Yana, and Cassie. Goddamn. And what was your first conversation with Cassie? He says, we were on Star Island. Carrie Morgan was there too. Cassie said, this lifestyle is crazy. I asked her, why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? She said, Sean controls my life, my music. He pays for my apartment. Next conversation, they said. It was about her music, but the album never came out. Did you overhear a conversation? He said, yes. It said Mr. Combs said Kim is my queen. Out in LA with my family, he said I have Cassie right where I want her. She's young and moldable. Goddamn. Like what? It says, Your Honor, how much longer do you want to go? This would be a good place to break. He says, We'll break for the day. So that's where they left off on yesterday. That's where they left off on yesterday. And of course, as always, we're gonna pick up today, where they bring him back. Um, and we're gonna get right into that. They have Mr. Slavic coming back to question him. I think this is the first lawyer, or this, actually the second, maybe. But they say, what about physical violence between Mr. Combe and Cassie? Did you personally observe it? He says, no, I did not. So, do you remember a blog post? He says, yes. I was in LA when he came back from a club. Says, what did Mr. Combs say? That someone was lying on him. That he hit Cassie at the club. He went through my browser history. No one had ever done that to me. Goddamn. Did Mr. Combs give you instructions about Cassie? To bring her food at the London hotel. Some Roscoe. What is Roscoe's? Some delicious fried chicken in Los Angeles. Said them niggas act like they don't know what Roscoe's is. What did you do for Mr. Combs and why? He says, I'd bring him applesauce, jello, Fiji water, his toiletry bag with ointments just for men. We bought 40 items so he wouldn't call us later. I'd get a key like at the Trump International. I set up the medicine bag and the personal LV bag. What was in it? He said a Viagra, ecstasy, perks. How did you go about replenishing these supplies? I'd use my personal credit card. So, as I said, I believe this was one of the guys who indeed went and copped personally for him. So he said, I used my personal credit card. Bad boy paid me back. Says, who paid you back? Usually Bonds. Mr. Combs ever say stay alone in the hotel? Never. Usually Cassie, sometimes other women. Did he ever ask you for things during a stay? He texts me for an iPod or food. Did anything strange ever happen? Says yes, in Miami. He asked for an iPod from his house on Star Island. I drove it to his hotel and knocked. No answer. I had a key. I'd set up the room. Said, what did you see? Cassie on the bed. He said there was a other person who sort of scurried away, and the shower was on. I thought Mr. Combs was in there. He says, how was she sleeping? He says, on her back. They said objection. It was sustained. What about the other person? He said he was about 5'8" with long hair and long and down. Goddamn, nigga, we ain't had to know all that, nigga. Did you did you ask anything? Says I was hired to ask about their I wasn't hired to ask about their personal affairs. Did you ever pick up drugs for Mr. Combs? Says yes, Percocets at a pharmacy sometimes in my name. So again, this is he also used his own personal name to get drugs. This is one of the people that did it. Did you give him permission to use your name? Says I don't recall that. Was there a drug dealer? So he didn't give him permission to even use his name. That's crazy. Was there a drug dealer? He says yes. One stop. He met with a lot of people. He said yes, even former presidents. God damn. So one stop was really one stop. Okay, one stop was really that nigga. Even former presidents. Shit. God damn. They said which one? Whoa, 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 whoa! Former President Obama. God damn.
Wait a minute.
God damn. This was an hour ago.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Yeah, wait, yeah, but bring that back, bro. Bring that back one more time.
Wait.
Bring that back one more time.
If you're just now coming into the Doja room, light your blunt up. If you're here,
You don't need to say it for this. Oh Lord.
you know
Oh
this
Lord.
is why I kind of have a theory that this nigga might walk. They said, was there a drug dealer? He said yes. One stop. He met with a lot of people. They asked. He said yes, even former presidents. They said which one? He said former President Obama. Obama know one stop? Y'all mean to tell me Obama knows one stop? Yeah. This shit is a movie. This shit is a movie.
Yeah, he might be getting away with it.
Okay. Pause real quick. What the fuck was Obama getting from one stop?
Hmm. Hmm. I don't
I
even know,
mean,
bro. Weed,
this
maybe.
is crazy. Obama was kind of close with Diddy during his, that whole election, voter die, all of that whole era.
Hmm.
And you mean to tell me that Obama might have been taking some drugs on his run for presidency? Maybe some Adderall. He was one stop, so it can be a variety of things. The nigga name is one stop.
That is crazy.
Well, I got an article to write. This is crazy. I got
All
some
right,
work to
guys.
do
It's
about
like,
that one.
it's like, all right, guys. That's the Doja room.
Yeah. They don't press further with any questioning about that, but he implicates former President Obama, and with him being uh, his assistant around the time of 2008 to or 2007 to 2009, that's definitely in that time period of Obama running for election. And oh wow, yeah, yeah, this shit's crazy. Okay, it just got crazy. All right. Okay, they asked, what was your understanding of what would happen if you hadn't done things? They said, objection, sustained. Said, did you ever take ecstasy? Says, yes, I was drinking Ciroc. I took ecstasy. I was with Diddy. I was with Diddy bopping. He said he was Diddy bopping. And I quote, God.
Major pause.
Yeah. Holy. They said, what did you mean? He said, I was vibing. They asked, did you speak with Mr. Combs about it? Said he was reviewing footage of the party. Um, they said he continues, he says, we had a videographer who filmed the parties. He asked me, hey, Playboy, was that you dancing around at that party? I said, yes. And he says, I'm going to keep the video in case I ever need it. They said, meaning that I'd be embarrassed. Okay. He blackmailing everybody. So did anything ever go missing? They asked. He said they said a bracelet was missing. Uncle Paulie came to my hotel room and searched my belongings and those of my girlfriend at the time. Said, could you have said no? They said objection. The judge said move on. Said, did you ever have to take a lie detector test? He said yes. They said who was present? Just me and this gentleman. It was very intimidating. They put monitors on my head, my chest, and my hand. They said, could you refuse? They said not to keep my. He said not to keep my job. Did this happen again? He said yes. When Mr. Combs said a watch of his had been stolen. This is what was the result. The gentleman told me I seemed nervous. I said sure I am. He said once Capricorn Clark had to take a lie detector test to prove she wasn't a part of the of a heist of Mr. Combs' jewelry. Um, they asked, was there an incident of Mel Diner's or Mel Diner with Suge Knight? They said yes. He said yes. I drove the Silver Navigator to get cheeseburgers there. D-Rock said that that motherfucking Suge Knight. He went over and said, "What's up?" Suge didn't recognize him. D-Rock said, "I'm Biggie's boy." He said, "What happened next?" He said, "We noticed four black SUVs to different sides of the parking lot." Goddamn. They said, "I saw someone hand Suge Knight a gun." D-Rock said, "We got to get out of here." We drove back to the house. "What did you find there?" Cassie was crying. Mr. Combs got in the vehicle. I saw three guns on his lap. I felt calm because we'd been in a silver vehicle, now back one. They wouldn't see us coming. What did you find? What did you find at Mel Diners? They said Suge Knight had left. Mr. Combs said, "Drive back around the block." Said, "What did you decide?" He said, "To leave the company. They offered me other positions, but I just wanted to leave. My life was at risk." They said, "No further questions." Then they switch over to the defense. They says, you didn't tell all this the first time." He says, "They told me to stop. They to not say anything that would incriminate me. Look at the notes from your interview. Read into it yourself, then look up at me." They said, "Okay." He said, "How do you recognize Suge Knight?" He says, "I listen to hip hop." "You were drinking or smoking pot?" He says, "No, sir." "Your mind was clear?" He says, "As clear as it could be. Working 20 hours a week at 4 a.m. D-Rock opens the door. Suge Knight is a few cars over. He said, "Windows open." D-Rock says, "I'm Biggie's boy," and then Suge recognizes him. Gives him a dap. "What's a dap?" They said. "A handshake." "Did you leave D-Rock at the diner?" "Why are you smiling?" They said, because I'm guessing the dude is smiling. He says, "Because that's a crazy question. Why would I?" Um, he says, "Didn't you leave D-Rock at the diner?" He says, "That makes no sense." He says, "I'm not asking what makes sense. I'm asking, did you?" He said, "No." He says, "You saw, I guess they said, you said you saw Cassie and Mr. Combs." He said, "Yes, Mr. Combs told me to drive." "You don't know where Mr. Combs got the guns, do you?" He says, "I didn't know we had guns until then." "Have you ever been in a situation like that?" He said, "No." "You didn't say, 'I don't want to drive to Suge Knight with guns'?" He says, "No." "What exactly did you do before you got this job?" He said, "I was a door-to-door salesman, then a personal assistant." Now you were going with guns to confront someone." He says, "That was not ideal." They continue. You knew how to get to Mel's Diner, right?" He says, "I frequent there all the time." "You've never seen guns before, right?" He says, "No." Says, "This radical departure from your job description, is that an understatement?" He says, "It's an understatement of the day so far." "Do you have immunity?" He says, "Ask my lawyer. I have some kind of offer agreement." Proffer. He says, you didn't tell anyone about this?" He says, "Only my wife." "Did you meet with the government this morning?" He says, "Yes, briefly, about what might come up in Cross." Says, "Did Mel's Diner incident come up?" He says, "No, not that I recall." He says, "It's this morning. What did you talk about?" He says, "Your style," and some laughter. He said, "I'm dying to ask what they said, but I won't." Um, they said, I have a few more. I have a few more mundane questions." He says, "I love mundane questions." They said, "Where did you travel with Mr. Combs?" He said, "Ibiza, London, St. Tropez." Um, where were these vacations? He says, "Business oriented." "What were you hired as?" "Personal liaison, but I was a personal assistant." He met a high roster of people. He says, second understatement of the day. They said, "Why?" He met with who's who. They said, "It wasn't important that he be prepared for these meetings, right?" He said, "Yes." They said it was important that he be prepared for these meetings, right? He said yes. It was important that he be on time. He said no. We changed the meetings to fit his schedule all the time when he didn't want to show up at a certain time. He had security because people wanted to touch him, right? He said yes. In the airport, in McDonald's. They said, was he gracious? He says, I don't think gracious is a word I'd use for Sean Combs. They said, did he sign autographs? He said no. You said he'd stay in the studio until 3 or 4 a.m. and you stay with him. He says, yes, it was common. What sort of things would he want to always have with him? He said ketchup, for example. Okay. Did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? What the fuck? Yeah, you gotta lock this nigga up. No, I knew he liked applesauce. He likes Astroglides, condoms, and baby oil, but you didn't expense it through the business? He said usually not. I was told he didn't want to run them through the company. He didn't want a record of them. When you bought the 8 ball of Coke in Saint Tropez, or Saint Tropez, they said pronunciation. I guess they wanted the pronunciation right in there. It says you didn't tell Mr. Combs, did you? They said he was asleep. Tell me about your relationship with Roger Bonds. He said we talked about Bad Boy as a family. What do you mean? He said Mama Combs called me her son many times. What was the mission? He said make sure he's happy. Was it fun? He said I enjoyed it from time to time. What was your relationship with Chef Jordan? He said professional. Said, did you choke her? He says no. They said objection, sidebar. They said, tell me what happened. He says, we were on Star Island. She told me where to take him. I grabbed her 2 wrists, I'm sorry, and said, stay in your fucking lane. Was there a fallout? He said it was reported to corporate HQ. Mr. Combs called me in. They said, Mr. Combs told me you can't be putting your hands on women. Oh, man. He told me to give her a gift. They said, what did you give her? He said, I rolled up a blunt and gave it to her. That's it? He said, did she like it? He said, it appeared she did. You were in a car with Mr. Combs and who? He said, Chris Lightly. You haven't taken ecstasy? He said, I party, sure. It said, what were things in the studio? Oh, what were things in the studio? Drugs? He says, yes, it's a creative environment. He said, I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke when working with Mr. Combs. But he caught you smoking once. He says, I thought there was I thought he was in the light. I lit him up. He came out. He says, what are you doing? I said, nothing. He said, if you're a man enough to smoke, you're man enough to tell me. I said, okay, I'm smoking. He said, if I did it again, he'd fire me. How about when you picked up 2 prostitutes and had sex with one? They said, objection 403. Said, overruled. He said, she asked for about $200. I called Bonds and asked, oh, what the hell? She asked to take a shower. I said, that's $200. Laughter. On that note, no further questions. They asked for a redirect. They asked, what about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey? They said to file a police report to say Chef Jordan had been the aggressor, but I didn't file it. I drove around and told him I'd made the report. They asked, what have we asked you to do? He says, tell the truth. They said nothing further. They said, recross. It says, you lied to Mr. Combs. This is a defense again. It says, you lied to Mr. Combs about filing the police report. He says, yes. They said nothing further. Could we have a break, they asked for, and they go on break, and they are now on break as we leave things off, and that's where they are right now in trial, okay? So we're leaving off on day 7, and tomorrow we'll come back for the day 7 recap, and as they continue, I don't know if they're going to continue to question this guy it kind of seems like they're all done with this David David James guy. So if this even is the right guy that I have up, but hopefully I do. But yeah, it seems like they're pretty much done with him, and they're gonna move on to the next witness, or whoever that they have. So tomorrow we'll be picking up with that. And yeah, I appreciate everybody who has stopped through thus far, and has been continuing to stop throughout this entire trial. We're going to continue to give you consistent updates every day and do our due diligence to make sure that we're getting a little bit of info behind the scenes for you guys, as I'm still trying to do. Okay, so appreciate you guys for stopping into the Doja Room. To all my stoners, hippies, and hip hop enthusiasts, this is the Diddy trial day 6 wrap up. Tomorrow we'll be getting into the wrap up of day 7 and continue on from there. Okay, appreciate you guys for stopping in. I'm your boy Dope Boy Diesel. This is the Doja Room, and I'm out.